We will call together the budget hearing for June 27th. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 board members here today.
Stand in front of it all time.
And Caroline is
Okay, I just
home.
Oh, she's home watching? Is she watching this one?
Yeah, she's home watching, and she's
Okay.
sent me some notes.
Okay. Great. Hi, Carol.
Yes, Dad.
It's nice to have you. All right, we will start with the proposed 2022-2023 budgets.
Perfect. Right?
Fire away.
Good.
Yes, that's you, Mark.
Yes, so Kurt told me to go 30 minutes and 30 slides. No, I did 28 slides, I think. But
Plus, I think I told you 10 minutes.
yes, 10 minutes. But I usually do a non-traditional budget. Like I can sit here and talk 40 minutes on budget assumptions and stuff. At the end of the day, that's what this packet's really there for. I kind of lay out a lot of the stuff. I kind of hit some high-level stuff. In your board packet tonight, you guys are going to approve, hopefully, the 21-22 final budget. So I kind of just showed that we're going to increase our deficit. Yep, increase our deficit a little bit. A lot of it was coming, we did add some revenue, but some of that expense side, we're still trying to figure out all this COVID virtual learning, virtual early middle college. Fuel started to hit us pretty hard. And when we start fixing some of our HVAC and stuff, cost of materials, as we all know, are starting to go up. And that's what's starting to cause this. So we're going to end a little bit less than what I budgeted, what you guys approved in February. We're going to hit 10.37. The big thing is the taxable value. So this is the main reason why we have to have this budget meeting every year is I got to explain, guys, people in the community, because we have so many people here. You guys are going to get taxed to keep the school running. Taxable values are going to go up. We had 6.1% increase in taxable values this year, which is great. Taxable values don't really matter in the general fund side of it, right? The state, how the formula is, and back in 1994, when I was a wee little kid, they passed a law for Act 18. It says, or PA 1, no, what is it, Kurt?
25?
I don't even.
Proposal A.
Proposal A. Thank you. Well,
Proposal
see, you get a candy.
Yeah, well done.
Basically, it offsets the property taxes with your enrollment. So the more property taxes I get, the less state aid revenue I get for the formula. The one thing it does hurt you guys, so you see our operating millage, 17.888776, and now it's 17.6327. That should be 18. So the state's assuming you guys are going to collect 18 mils. We're not going to collect 18 mils. Because when you increase more than the consumer price index and taxable values, they call it Headley rollback. They say, wait a minute, North Muskegon's collecting too much taxes, so we're going to do a net. So in your L4029 that you see, there's a number. It's a 0.99 or 0.98. That's the Headley rollback that the county gives to us. So probably in November or in July, the Finance Committee will recommend to create a ballot language to bring this back up to 18 mils. Right now, if we do not, it's a $12,000 decrease in revenue that North Muskegon's going to see this year. That number's probably going to go up next year, and until 2030, you guys are going to experience a 12,000 plus every year. So that's why it's important for us to roll that, get that back to 18. Now, note, this is not a primary home. This is second home. This is commercial property, things like that. So our sinking fund, we were at 1.5 when you guys passed it back in 15. We're at 1.43. But if you see in the budget, we're gaining more revenue because our taxable values have increased so much. But then when we renew it, hopefully in 2025, that will go back up to 1.5. You're going to start to see that, and then it's going to slowly drop again. So we get about $600,000 in general fund that can offset just general operations. Our debt is 1.279 million, which is the next slide. So North Muskegon has 3 debts. You guys are going to have that on your, there's a school bond loan fund, that's what the SBLF is. School bond loan fund, you guys are going to approve that. So for communities that have a small tax base, unless you guys want these nice facilities and pay 15 mils, the state of Michigan created a school bond loan fund. I call it, it's paying credit card with another credit card. But it allows districts with small tax bases to have nice facilities and not just really pay 13, 14, 15, 16 mils for the community. So you still are paying off these millages with your debt mill of 7.82. This is how much principal and interest is left, and this is when we guys pay them all off. We have over $3 million of principal, which, as you see, we're paying interest on this principal, even though we're paying interest here and here. That's what I'm saying with credit card, paying off another credit card. This year alone, we're actually at that point where we're going to start to pay back that school bond loan fund. So next year, hopefully, I think we're going to pay off about $200,000 of that $3 million, which is good. So some budget assumptions. I'm going to set at 955 in fall enrollment. I'm going to explain a little bit more. We did 955. It's hopefully going to go higher than that with what the NMEA has had a tentative agreement. There's a formula built in. There's a slide by it that's going to kind of explain it a little bit. Foundation, we're going to increase to $9,150, a 5.17% increase. We're going to continue to see some MPSERS offset because if we didn't, that would be a world of hurt for everyone, and there's more slides on that. MPSERS did say, so pension system, so like Kurt's, mine, Christie's, we're somewhere between 28 and 30% for every dollar that we pay that we have to put in. But then the state says, back in 14, 15, the state said, hey, we got some extra dollars. We want to pay this pension off earlier. So we're gonna give, the state's gonna give us money, and then we're gonna give it to the pension system. Instead of, we still can't figure out why can't they just give it to the pension system, but they like to make my job hard. All the other state funds are remaining the same. Health benefits, 1.3% increase in the cap. So back in 2011, the state says, hey, instead of having an unfunded, how much you guys can pay for health insurance, we're gonna pick a fixed cost. So we have a 1.3% increase. That means when Chrissy creates how much every employee has to pay for health insurance, she kind of calculates that with a small increase. So this is the problem. That's why I put will impact employees. That small of an increase, every health care is probably going to be about 7-8% increase in premiums. So what that's going to do is your employees are going to be paying a lot more money on their paycheck. So it's always one of those, there's nothing that we can do, right? We are mandated to pay only so much, but it's just a thing when you're talking in negotiations for those support groups, or you're talking that will impact it. Replacement of all but 2 teaching staff, and then with 2 teachers retiring, that's a $15,000 retirement payment that we have to pay. Hit the wrong button. Part of your budget, or part of your board packet, there's a recommendation for $950,000 of cash flow. Just got done with the finance. They'll touch base on that. All employees, I'm assuming, are going to receive 1 step or the formula or the equivalent of that if there are no steps. So non-affiliated, there are no steps. Everyone gets that. Next slide, we'll have the NMEA formula. I'm expecting transportation and operations, the fuel's not going to go down. And then I haven't seen it. I did see it below $5, and I was like, oh crap, it's under $5. And operations costs are just going to continue. So this is kind of the formula. The formula's in there. It's really based on the 4 factors that we can't control: healthcare costs, ORS costs, foundation allowance, and the one thing we may be able to control is zero enrollment, those school choice. It's a nice, lovely spreadsheet. So I use the example. If we did finish at 975 and the foundation did stay at the 9150, that would add an additional $183,000 of revenue to that budget, which is great. That formula is going to dictate that you give 160 of that out in ORS cost. So it's not 160 in salaries, 160 in total cost. So it might be 120,000, and then you got ORS and all that stuff that's coming on top of that. So I just want to share that with you. So it's because I've been there. It's like, hey, yeah, we got all this extra money. Yep, but now it's almost like manufacturing. There's a cost of goods sold here. Okay, but as you can always see, there's always going to be a point that we have more money than we got to pay out. That's the benefit. That's the great thing. So general fund, assuming everything I just said, right? 950. Best guess is that we have as of right now We're going to decrease our fund balance a little bit more to 9.52%. Again, fuel, all of the non-payroll stuff is just starting to catch us. Subs cost was pretty high this year. I'm expecting that that's not going to change. But there's some other good stuff. So here's all the COVID dollars. You can have it. It's also in your packet. Just in these, you got over $2 million in COVID federal relief that can be spent somewhere between 2021 and 2024, maybe 2025 in the summer. We have allocated or spent almost $1.7 million. We still have $300,000 to go. So some of it's allocated in terms of teachers, technology, elementary staff, day porters, things like that, extended school, summer school, learning loss. And then you got all of that where it's remaining yet. So there are some ability that we can offset some of these losses with some COVID dollars if it is necessary. The other thing was, on top of more COVID, this is additional COVID, but I kind of segment this off as summer school extended day. We got $236,000 of summer school extended day money for the last couple of years. So when you start to see, like the big thing that districts are going to have to start to figure out is North Muskegon didn't have a summer program 2 years ago, 3 years ago. We're going to keep that in 2025, 2026. Where are we going to pay for it? So, you know, stuff like that we got to start to think about. If we want a summer school program, you know, our summer school program this year is going to probably be about $50,000. We want to maintain that future forward. Where's that coming forward? There's many grants for it, but then that takes away something else that you guys had before. So that's kind of why I share that. I keep talking. Enrollment trends. Now it's the charts and graphs portion. I was hoping John was going to be here to show off my nice charts and graphs, but apparently not. Just enrollment, I meant kind of, that's why I put projected. Hopefully that gets back up to over here, maybe farther. School choice, so enrollment for North Muskegon school choice. I know this, every district has a school choice is a very touchy situation. As you can see, so this is, we only have data from last year, right? So this 2022 is the fiscal year of it. Our school choice did maintain, it was, man, we had over 400 in 2020. And we're not losing as many kids, which is good because I know North Muskegon, we had a very, I call it a strict mass guidance prior to a lot of districts around us this year. So I was pretty kind of shocked to see that these numbers did not fluctuate more. School choice, so the top little chart is losses. So not shocked. Our competition is Puffer. We lose 45 kids to Puffer, but we take 231 of theirs. Right? So take that out today. But then like Muskegon Public, 71. Whitehall, 21. Not many. I won't take it against you guys that you take one from Fruitport. But I don't know, you take, sorry, we take, Fruitport takes one and you guys take 7. It's okay. But I think the big thing I want to take out of this with the gains. The losses are the losses. We've got to figure out why we're losing them. We probably know a little bit of that. The gains, my concern with the gains is when gas prices are $5 a gallon and transportation becomes the issue, are these parents willing to transport them farther at $5, $6 a gallon? I'm not. I'm just saying that. So that's kind of how I look at that. You see where some of these kids are traveling. Ravenna, Oak Ridge. I mean, Shelby. That is the. That would probably be the consortium private school that we have. New Era. Thank you. So some of these districts that are a little bit farther out, there has to be a reason why they're coming. I mean, I know there's a reason why they're coming, but are they going to stick when you're paying $5 a gallon to get there? So another way to look at it, school choice by grade. You can see, so the blues going that way are the gains, the oranges going that way are the losses. So you can see, I mean, kindergarten all the way to 12th grade. Obviously that 12th grade is going to fall off this year because they're graduated. I mean, it's all kind of over. You like that, Steve? Okay. You can just kind of see where our elementary, I think on average, is a little bit more heavy in the school choice than our secondary, but not much. Kindergarten obviously was a big one. So is that going to continue? I just like to put these out, trends, looking at them, school choice numbers, and especially with that, if a kid goes to lives in Puffer, comes here, and then the next year moves here, they're not school choice numbers, so it kind of deviates, so you just gotta kind of take everything at face value.
So that's this year's?
Yes.
Okay, I get it.
So I kind of shared this with you, I just always put this back in. The main thing that I look at is your resident population. So the kids that live inside North Muskegon boundaries from 2 years ago to this year's almost dropped 60 kids. And of that, you guys normally, percent resident, meaning, sorry, that is how many kids that we educate that live in our boundaries. So let's just say that's 90%. Those 60 kids, that's 54 kids that we just lost. That if we had if we had the same number of kids in our boundaries in 2020, we'd have over 1,000 kids this year. So, again, all of that. That's what, like when Kurt and I talked about this way back when. Some of it might be because of COVID, the decrease in enrollment for North Muskegon, but it also might be the the population in the boundaries. Enrollment trends is just.
Mark?
Oh.
Do we have numbers on the kids that we use to private schools?
No, so
It's just
there's,
school
anything,
choice.
the only way we would have a loss on a private school is if they get funded by so if, kind of like what we do with New Era Christian, if, let's just say Muskegon Catholic, if Muskegon Public does their PE for Muskegon Catholic and they count it via Muskegon Public, that would be counted in this loss right up here. So if it's just a straight traditional one, then no. So I think like doesn't Hart do
Oceana.
yeah, so they might count in there, but not enough to see those numbers. So on MPSERS, this is kind of what I was explaining. The blue line is what we pay for North Muskegon. The red line is kind of like here's the money, and now you guys pay it, and you just got to show that we charged it to you. So, I mean, you could honestly sell for the pension system alone, and there's more behind it, 40 cents on the dollar is going to the pension system to try to keep this thing from falling through. Part of the reason is this. So every year the pension system gets audited. And so this is September 30 of 2021. So it does not count anyone that retired December 31st of 2021. What's that, $70,000? 70,000 people. So there's more retirees by 70,000, and this gap's only growing, right? The number of retirees are slowly getting higher and higher and higher. Our numbers are keep going. There hasn't been a year that we have, since 2012, our active members have been decreasing. That doesn't help. So the other thing is it's the only reason why our pension rate didn't go up, our costs. Where is it? It is, oh boy, transfers. 26,000, 5,000. These are what we pay in. I meant the cost that the pension system's earning right now is massive, right? So right now the pension system's only assuming 6% increase in interest. They almost made 14% this year. So the growth is huge. That's the only reason why our rates did not go up. And this is I was very, so in 2020 when you add into rolls, it's they added 9,000 people. Removed from rolls means they passed away 6,000. So I meant the removal of people on rolls is getting, that's also exacerbating those numbers. So I wish it was back to when I started where there's only 2 MPSERS rates. Now that's what it looks like every year. So Kurt's rate's different than my rate. My rate's different than Jessica's rate. Sorry, Steve and Chrissy, I don't know if your rate. I think your rates are probably Kurt's rates, but yeah, that's what everyone looks like. So when Chrissy gets a new employee, that's what Chrissy has to deal with is which rate is which rate. Special ed costs, I think this is one of the last ones. I know I shared this with you guys when we were talking about special ed enhancement millage. Special ed cost continues to go up. In 2023, the estimate is $949,000 of general ed fund is going to pay for special ed costs, which is put in a different rate. 57% of all special ed costs is paid by the general fund. So less than half of special ed costs is paid by special ed federal or state dollars. And that's why we have consortiums. That's why we have Wesley Transitional Center. That's why we are in the North Service Unit. That's the reason, because if we didn't, that number would be a lot higher. Fund balances, I listed like nice pretty charts. Fund balances, you can start to see there's a spike of the revenue and the expenses from the federal COVID dollars. Food service, again, there's a packet in there for you guys. The big thing for food services is last year that we had free, everyone's free. So you see these numbers, like look at, that was 740. Now we go back to everyone starting to pay again. So look at where my revenue just went. My expenses don't decrease that often on that. So the big thing is we will have excess fund balance. So the max we can keep is 33.3%. I'm gonna have to start spending that down, which Michelle and Dan, the new food service director, kind of gave us a list of what we need for equipment. Perfect. It's nice to have extra money when they tell you, you have too much. It's always nice. Technology security, I always chuckle like, yeah, we are down to $911 at the end of this year. But we've allocated the programs, right? It's new computers for everyone. Theater lights, mics in the pack, the PA systems, other stuff, all in there. So if there's additional technology needs, that's where it's going to have to come out of the general fund, because there's no additional dollars. Fiduciary, it's the student activity fund. It's the student accounts, the boosters, that's what Chrissy does through a QuickBook account. We have to record it in the budget, so that's my stab at it. To be honest, I mean, it doesn't matter. But I have to budget. Sinking fund. This year it's kind of done. We haven't put anything in it. Next year, that's the big one, is still going to resurface the floors, and the big project, doors. So I know Paul, Kurt, and myself are working on getting these doors, all the interior doors, updating them, working with Tower Pinkster to make sure the fire rating's all good. There's an estimate.
Mainly getting rid of the glass.
Yep.
All of the old antique TVs that are looking. They're cool. We're going to probably auction them off, so if anyone wants one.
Ooh.
Some of the teaching staff are already putting dibs on something.
So yes, that's the big project.
Beautiful.
We're going to still spend 247 or 245. I always say it's always a good problem to have when you have a little bit of money there. You don't want to spend that one all the way down, because just in case emergency, i.e. more bats. More bats fly around. We got some money as long as we can do it appropriate. That's the tough part with the sinking fund. No technology, so PA systems, right? You think you can put PA systems in the sinking fund? Nope, can't do it. Doors got to be certain doors, certain things of doors, like playground equipment. We have playground. Nope, can't do that. So it's very tight in what you can spend it. If we renew this in 2025, hopefully we can expound on that allowable cost. We can go that way. I got 4 minutes before I gotta leave. So any questions on anything from the budget or anything in the packet? Jess will be here and she can answer all your questions. Look at how confident she is. Come
I
on.
want to know about the bats.
Yes.
Still have a problem?
I think Batman is gone.
Yep.
The bat signal has not been out. No. Yes.
Took about a week after we got the specials in here, and then haven't had a sign.
You mean
sign since.
Batman?
Yeah, Batman.
No. Batman's special.
I told Mark I really appreciated this type of a budget presentation. Shows lots of different angles that are all at play, and I think he laid it out really well, and also the packet with the assumptions in it. So well done.
Good job, Mark. Thank
Great.
you. Now,
Thank you.
off to my note. At least I did not say Fruitport here in North Muskegon, and I put all the numbers. That was my fear all weekend, making sure that I did find all of the right numbers, because that was my fear in a dream was, hey, yeah, $450, that's $1.3 million. Nope, that's the wrong district. So I appreciate that. If you have any questions, you can always email me, or if anything there, I try to touch base with everything in the packet. That's why Jess will be here. Okay?
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. Have fun. You guys will be done before I even start the other one.
All right, any other comments, or are we adjourned for 4 minutes?
Yep. Get nothing
We're
else to
good?
cover there.
All right. We will call the June 22nd Board of Education regular meeting to order. We will start with roll call. We have roll call. We've got 5 board members here, so we do have a quorum. Lisa and Carolyn. And we'll start with the approval of the consent agenda, which is the minutes from the June 13th regular board meeting and the May 2022 accounts payable and financials.
I move that we approve the consent agenda for this evening's meeting.
Support.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Okay. Public comments?
Our public just left.
Our public just left, right.
Said thank you and left.
Okay, next, committee reports, financial.
We met just prior to this meeting for a half hour prior to the budget hearing and just reviewed a lot of what we talked about in the budget hearing, both the year-end budgets for this ending fiscal year and the new budget for the upcoming fiscal year that we will be taking action on here shortly.
Thank you. And policy?
Yes, that's me. We had a discussion about dress code, and it seems like we're not the only ones that are working on this. Other schools in our area are doing the same thing. We had an update on personnel and how many people are going to leave, and we've already said, taken care of that in our previous meetings. And then we talked about formula factors when it comes to teaching staff in their contract formulas. It's different than it has been in the past. And that includes student count, money from the state, healthcare caps, and ORS pensions. And one thing that we've been able to do is guarantee steps and lanes. That means increases for our teachers moving up in years, and they move up 1 year every year, and then sometimes with more education then they change lanes, and that also gives them a increase in salary. That's about it.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ms. B. All right, next, on to new business. We've got a fair number of things to go through tonight. We start with the adoption of the final 2021-2022 budgets, which there are 6 budgets, being the general, cafeteria, technology, capital improvement, sinking fund, and the fiduciary fund.
I don't really have anything to add other, you had the presentation, you've seen the packet, so for both these action items, Will, I don't really have anything more to add at this time than what you've already gotten. Jess, we've spoken to them.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments from board members?
I would motion to approve the adoption of the final 2021 and 2022 budgets, including general, cafeteria, technology, capital improvement, sinking, and fiduciary.
Yes. Yep, it's just one
Combined together.
item.
I support.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Roll call.
Oh, we got a roll call this one, sorry. Need
Sorry.
to roll call. We will start with Mary.
Yes.
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 And next is the adoption of the proposed 2022-2023 budgets, of which there are only 5, which is the general, cafeteria, technology, millage, sinking fund, and fiduciary fund.
All right, I motion to approve the adoption of the proposed 22 to 2023 budgets for the general fund, cafeteria, technology millage, sinking fund, and fiduciary fund.
Support.
Thank you. So moving second. Any questions or comments? We also had these reviewed in the budget hearing prior to this meeting, a thorough review of those. So, if there's no other questions, we'll do a roll call on that one, right? Roll call on that one too? Okay, I'm gonna start with Mrs. D.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Passes, thank you. All right, next is the approval of the 2022 tax rate request L 4029.
Yep. Every year we have to do this. This is with the most current numbers and the millage that fall under this L 4029. So this is a yearly thing, consolidates millage amounts.
Okay, we also went over this earlier today in finance.
No major changes from the past.
All right, I will motion to approve 2022 tax rate request, the L-4029.
Support.
Okay, any further questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Okay, thank you. Next is the approval of the state aid operating notes resolution.
Again, annual thing that's in your packet. It goes along with our budget that you've already approved. And like I said, nothing more. It's an annual thing that ties to the budget.
We could have a motion.
I move that we approve the state aid operating note resolution.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Is this a roll call?
Is this one roll call too?
I don't see where it is.
No, I don't think
No.
so. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Next is the approval of the school bond loan fund.
Yep. Mark talked a little bit about that earlier as well. So nothing really more to add on that. Just a yearly vote.
Allows us to pay our bills.
Yep. Without
Until
without
the-
adding a millage amount, yep.
Until the tax comes. I would motion to approve the school bond loan fund as presented.
I support.
It's been moved and seconded. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, that's enough of that. Let's move on to some that are more
Fun.
enjoyable, more fun. Starting with the approval of the hiring of Rachel Netcott,
Yeah.
math teacher.
Yep, Netcott, and then also Kristen Carlson. We had 2 middle school, high school math positions open. Ken worked through our normal process. We will get the write-up that kind of breaks it all down for you, but we wanted to make sure we got this on so these excited people can get things official and rolling. But we will break down the process of who was involved and all that, just like you guys always get. And we're super excited. I'll let Ken talk all he wants, but I obviously had a chance to meet both of them, and I think we hit 2 more home runs. So I'm very excited to get them, our 2 newest Norsemen rolling. Ken, do you want to add anything?
No, I mean, just a sign of times, 2 math positions, middle school, high school, 5 applicants. So you go back 10, 20 years ago, you're looking at hundreds of applicants. We had 5. Fortunately for us, we felt really good about the 2 that we hired, and we would have felt good about the 3rd if we had to go even 3 deep, but the 2 accepted, and I think we're really, really fortunate.
1 veteran teacher and 1 just getting started. Kind of neat.
Great.
Where's the veteran coming from?
She is recovering from cancer, actually. She taught up in Montague. She was a Catholic for a while. She knows Dr. Snodky. They worked together for a while. I actually taught with her up in Montague, too. So she's coming back into the teaching world.
Okay, any other questions or comments or information from anybody?
I move that we approve the hiring of Rachel Netcott.
Support?
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and opposed? Okay, and next is the approval of the hiring of Kristen Carlson.
I'll motion to approve hiring Kristen Carlson, middle school, high school math.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 And opposed? All right, great, very exciting, and thanks for the information. I know we do go through a very thorough process in hiring somebody, so that's always good to see. Next, approval of the meeting date changed for our annual board retreat, looking for August 1 now.
Yeah, looking at Monday the 1st, we had it set for the 3rd, which is actually the county-wide superintendent's couple-day beginning of the year meetings are on that date, so I should probably be at those. And then, so we're looking at that Monday. And we haven't finalized location yet, but that's the date we're shooting for, hopefully everybody can make it.
I'm gonna be flying back Sunday night now, as opposed to Monday, the way that airlines have been going.
It might
I'm just
be
gonna
Wednesday.
throw that out there now. I'm going home for my aunt's 90th birthday, and I'm not gonna change that. So hopefully I will be there on the 1st, but I was really disappointed to see that change. We do the best we can.
Maybe you can call in from a
From the airport.
In between calls to the airlines.
Yeah.
I don't know if other people have had a chance to take a look at those dates. I did look, it does work for me.
Works for me.
Works for me.
Okay.
I'll make it work.
Okay. What are the times on that?
Usually we start around 8:30 and go until about 2:30-ish on each end.
Okay, are there any other questions on that date change? Not if we could have a motion.
I move that we approve the change in the meeting date from August 3rd to August 1st for our board retreat.
Support? All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 And opposed?
Christie, I assume that's just you reposting some schedule.
All right, next is the approval to withdraw from the ADARE lawsuit related to against the state of Michigan. We talked a little bit about this also at finance.
Yeah,
But
we've
you
touched on it a little bit, and definitely talked it over in finance. This is the lawsuit that we've been involved in with a majority of the districts in the state, fighting the unfunded mandate things, and nothing's really come of it. We're a smaller fish in the pond in this, so it doesn't cost us a lot to be involved in it, but over 12 years now, with no movement at all, it's added up to over a couple $1,000s that we've pitched in to fight this fight that it's looking, from talking with lobbyists and other state leadership, if it does ever happen, it's probably just going to happen through state aid anyways. The state will say, yep, we messed that up and take care of it that way. The lawsuit, at this point, the opinion of those closest involved is not worth us continuing to send our checks to the group. So, yeah, definitely, the recommendation is that we step aside, just like many other districts are doing tonight, and, well, on whatever their end of June meeting date was. The east side of the state, almost to full amount, have all pulled away. So if we stay in, minimally our costs are going to go up, and probably still not going to get anywhere with it. So as it says in the letter you have, it really doesn't make any sense for us anymore to keep sending our money there.
I would be happy to motion we withdraw from the ADARE lawsuit against the state of Michigan, effective as soon as possible.
Support? Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Alrighty. And last is the second reading and approval of the February policy updates that we
Yep.
approved all of them but one last time round.
Yep.
And we just sort of postponed this one.
And as Ms. B said, we had a policy committee meeting, we talked about it. The policy as it's written and recommended by Neola doesn't back us into any corners of how we want to do our dress code, whatever that ends up being. And as Ms. B said, we're actively pursuing options with many other districts. When I say we, it's mainly Ken heading that up with some conversations across the county. We're not the only ones discussing this topic, and it's not just this year, it's every year. And so passing this policy would not handcuff us in any way. It actually would allow us to do whatever we feel is necessary as far as the policy that goes into our student handbook. So passing the policy today as written for our Neola packet will be a good thing, and then we'll take it from there locally.
I guess I should, shouldn't I? I move that we approve the policy 5511, the dress code policy needs to be updated.
Support. All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any other further questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Alrighty. Board comments. Mary, why don't we start down your end? Or do you want to start with?
That was a quick meeting.
Yeah, no problem. I know at the last meeting, there was some public comment, and as normal, we don't necessarily respond at that time. We gather information, we meet with people. As you guys saw at the very beginning of this meeting, Annie was here to say thank you because met with her, she and her husband earlier, and just want to kind of, I'm gonna do this with a communication to the community as well, to kind of break down some numbers and kind of where we're going and that kind of thing. But the comments regarding class size at our elementary, I'm not really sure where that started. And so I just wanted to pull some data that's real and then also explain what we're going to be talking about in closed session a little bit later that I think will also make the community very happy. But this past school year, our DK class sizes were 16. Our K were 21 and 23, a little higher than what we would like. And there were some special needs in those classrooms for sure. First grade, second grade, third grade were between 17 and 21 kids in any given class. Fourth grade and fifth grade were between 19 and 23. So class sizes at North Muskegon, we're doing great, incredibly enviable. So I just wanted to clear that. The plan going in, I think that when some in the community saw school of choice openings versus what that process really does in the long run are two very different things. And I think it made some people maybe a little nervous that some of those class sizes would jump up. And tonight we're going to, in a closed session, and then I'll present whatever we decide on to the community, hopefully tomorrow or the next day. But people, I think, will be very pleased because the numbers are going to be very much like what we just saw. And kindergarten is not going to have over 21, 24 kids or whatever, 23 kids in it. So just wanted to make sure that factual data was out there. We should be proud of our class sizes at North Muskegon, and we have every reason to be supported with what actually is happening in the classrooms. So if anyone in the community or others want to give me a call, that would be fine. But I just gave the real numbers. But thank you.
Great. Thank you, Kurt. Mrs. B?
I'm proud to say that we are now my heart safe school again.
Again.
So we've got everything it takes to be a heart-safe school, meaning that we have a plan, we have enough AEDs on hand, and they are readily available at all times, and I'm pretty proud of that. And staff members are certified or trained.
Board members?
That's
Well,
coming.
then how did you, that was kind of a secret.
Ben stole your thunder, Mr.
Oh, way to go,
Come to the board retreat and you will see.
Oh,
Yes, we will.
nice, all right.
Quick
Never
little,
renew mine.
quick little. But
All right.
I'm
Fantastic.
proud of everybody.
Thank you. Ben?
It's exciting to have two new hires, and I'm really happy that they came highly qualified and recommended. So nice work. That's a good start of the week to hear that information.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to, A, wish everybody a great summer. It's already started now. We're finally getting some nice good weather. And B, I'd really like to thank Mark and Jess for all their work in putting together the presentation that they did today. It's very apparent when you meet with them in finance and then hear the presentation here that they go through this with great detail, and it's not easy, it's complicated, and they present it in a way that's I think makes sense. It seems to make sense to me, and so I really appreciate that, and especially given everything dealing with all the COVID funds and so forth, it has not been easy for them, so I appreciate that.
I would simply reiterate what Will said. Thank you, Jess, and certainly Mark. The level of detail into two budgets at, this past month. They're trying to, wrap up the previous year budget, and they have an audit staring them in the face, and there's a lot of legal, technical things that have to happen with the old budget. And then they also have to give us, a good foresight to the upcoming year, and that's a lot of work in its own right. So I really thank both of them for all their efforts and appreciate it. And then congratulations to the two new Norsemen. It's always great.
I'm just gonna piggyback on that. If we do have any public out there, when Mark Messberger is doing a presentation and you see it on the schedule, you should tune in. Because he does a really, really nice job and makes it really understandable. And it is chock full of information. So if you weren't at the first meeting, you missed out. Ken and John, I saw that you guys were on the hiring committee, Ken obviously, and just thank you for your efforts and your whole committee. Like they said, we have a really nice process here, and it's worked really well for us. So thank you for your efforts on that. And that's it.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Next, we are scheduled for a closed session for some personnel discussions, and we need to have a roll call motion to do that.
I move that we go into a closed session to discuss personnel.
Support.
Okay, we will start with Mary.
Yes.
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 Okay. Regular meeting is, I guess that's not adjourned yet. We're moved to go into closed session. Thank you, everybody, for coming.